Hey guys, so if you click this video, chances are you're experiencing some form of derealization or depersonalization. I'm going to be breaking down exactly why therapy has never worked for DPDR, and to this day, there hasn't been one documented recovery from therapy within itself. I'm also going to be breaking down in this video exactly why therapy is so unbelievably detrimental and how it could potentially take years away from your life. Because for me, I tried therapy 3 out of the 4 years I was trying to recover, and my recovery would not have taken as long if I never would have gone to therapy. Right? It can delay years from your life. I'm going to break down exactly why this happens, and on top of that, I'm going to show you what you can do to go in depth on actually shaping your identity to be your recovered self, and how you can use subconscious reprogramming, neuroplasticity, a lot of techniques to completely go against what therapy teaches you and what ChatGPT tells you and Reddit tells you. Everything's fucking backwards. It's actually the biggest scam ever. The whole entire internet is backwards on derealization. People think they have the right information. This video is the only real information that works. If you don't believe me, you can look at all my client results. I have a 100% success rate in my program. Let's dive right into this video. Make sure you guys watch the whole way through. This is going to completely change your life. All right, guys, let's get into exactly why therapy never works, exactly why everything you probably think you know about recovery is completely and entirely backwards. Like, this is why you have ChatGPT, why we have Reddit, we have Google, we have all these things online. But for some reason, people are still going 30 plus years, going their whole life without recovering. This is why, okay? I'm going to be breaking this down in this video for you guys because it's extremely important to understand this, okay? Everything you've been taught about DPDR is backwards, all right? So let's start off with the types of people when it comes to recovery, right? Because you guys see there are people in my program that reach an insanely fucking fast recovery. I've had the record-breaking recoveries, 11 days, 13 days, multiple under 2 weeks, right? After months or years of this, I've had, Zach recovered after three years or so in literally less than, I think his was 13 days, right? So there is so much. There's so much that goes into it, and there's two kinds of people, right? We have person A. This person is really, really stuck. After 10 plus years, they still need recovery to feel happy, and they're doing something that is different from what all my clients would do, right? They're making decisions based off of their symptoms. They're making decisions based off of how they feel. They say, when I'm recover, then I can be fulfilled. So many people say that shit. They say, when I recover, then I'll be happy. Okay? And they seek safety through feeling like they have control. Okay? This person will continue to always search for the next thing to make them happy. They're never just happy in the present. They always need something to be happy. But right now, in this time of their life, it's DPDR. They can't be happy until they have DPDR. They can't start the business until they overcome this. And they stay stuck in this, right? But person B is, let me just go through some of my clients, right? So these aren't even recent clients. I actually made this my reward a while ago, but this is Sophie. Sophie made a full recovery in 2 weeks. She was in a psych ward, a clinic. She literally thought she was losing her mind. She couldn't go outside because, not everyone has DPDR like this, but this just shows the levels to it. She literally thought she was going to lose her fucking mind, right? She thought she was never going to be okay again. People told her she was going crazy. Joined my program. 2 weeks later, she's out. Okay. She was scared of the sun. She literally couldn't go outside because the existential thoughts, all these things. Herman recovered in 2 months. Kieran recovered in 40 days. Philip, huge transformation in a week. Vivi made a full recovery in a month, and then Dog has recovered. Zach recovered in 13 days. Timo made a recovery. All these people, look at DJ. This was while he had DPDR, quote unquote, right? Because I'll get to exactly why this is important now. But he sees DJing here, despite feeling like shit. These people all did something despite feeling like shit. These people did not wait to feel happy. They did not wait to feel the emotions. They did something, which I'm going to show you guys. But all of these people in my program did something very specific, right? They chose happiness and trust before the symptoms went away. Say that again. They chose happiness and trust before the symptoms faded. They acted. Neuroplasticity works by living by the end. They acted as if they were already where they want to be, regardless of how they felt. Your subconscious mind doesn't give a fuck about what you want. I'm going to be real with you guys. It doesn't care about how bad you want recovery. I know some of you guys want it really, really bad. It only cares about what you repeatedly do every single day. These people started to focus on living, focus on better themselves, focus on their purpose, and recovery came as a byproduct of that. Okay? So, you don't recover to be fulfilled in your life. You are fulfilled and then you recover. I'll say that again. You don't recover to be fulfilled in your life. You're fulfilled and then you recover. So most people, their whole entire, I guess, theory behind recovery is they need to recover first and then they can be happy again. So many people say they need this, right? But what flips and the real truth is that no one tells you is happiness equals recovery. Now, I'm going to get to why this relates to why therapy doesn't work in a second, because it all goes down to your identity. Okay? Now, if we go deeper into this, what is emotion? Emotion is the strongest form of manifestation. Emotion can create and manifest anything into your reality. Regardless of what it is, you can say, I am a millionaire, I am a millionaire. But if you don't feel the emotions of a millionaire, you're not going to attract things that make you a millionaire, right? So emotion is going to be that key cornerstone and that key to actually setting the foundation for change. You have to feel the emotions. Now, a lot of you guys might be like, well, I can't feel any emotions. I have derealization. Totally get that. The thing about emotion is if you can feel anger, if you can feel the need to change, that's an emotion within itself. Emotion will come with when you start to align yourself with your recovered self. You will start to prove to your nervous system that you're safe and you'll start to get more emotion. But emotion really just means, what are you thinking about during the day? Because thoughts create emotions, right? And how are you thinking about it? Because emotion, I would say emotion really means about how you're thinking about something. Because you can think about something, but if you're not actually believing it and taking it to the core, you're not going to feel emotion behind it. But emotion drives you to take action. All right. If I have anger, I might take relentless action to get in the fucking gym and get revenge on my ex or whatever it is. It's just an example, right? If I have happiness, I might be inclined to help other people and spread this happiness. If I am depressed, I might take actions that are negative and depressing, right? My social media feed might be depressing. I might watch depressing videos. I might not really socialize that much because I'm depressed. Whatever your emotion is going to lead you to take an action based off that emotion. Okay. So what I do with my clients is I attune them to the emotion of their recovered self. Extremely, extremely personalized. This is not the same for everyone. But you have to find the emotion of how you would feel when you're recovered. The problem a lot of people have is they think recovery is absolute perfection. It's great. It's awesome. You have a new perspective, but it's not perfection. And that's the lie a lot of people tell you. You're still going to have problems, but the difference is these are now real life problems. They're now real life issues. These aren't made up bullshit problems in your head like derealization. These are real life problems. So now that you have problems, I mean, now that you have now that you think that this is perfect, when you try to be on that frequency of your recovered self, you're going to attract a reality that doesn't really exist, right? I want you to put yourself under the emotions of your recovered self. This would be a happy person, but I want you to start thinking about real life problems, because if your emotions can be put into a goal, if you can be stressed over your weight loss or your business as opposed to derealization symptoms, now you're having an emotion of DPDR, not of DPDR, of recovery and what your recovered self would do. Okay. So now dive under that emotion of recovery, dive under that version of yourself that is recovered, and really ask yourself, what would you be stressed about? Now that you've unlocked this, you will start to take action based off this person. Now, this is part of your intuition. I was reading a book called Outsmarting Reality. This is pretty advanced stuff for a lot of you guys. So if this is your first video from me, you might want to go back after you're done with this and watch a bunch of other videos. But to put in this perspective here, if I want to change the emotion that I'm feeling, I have to really put myself under my desired reality and the best version of me. What would he be thinking about? I know that the best version of me would be the most stressed about helping my clients, running my business, being there for my family, and upgrading my physique. Also some social life things in there, but that's what I would be worried about. So I'm just going to start to write down goals. So now my problems can be related toward these things. Okay. Now, the book I was reading, Outsmart Reality, talked about how your frequency, which I'd say your frequency is almost like the emotions you feel every day. It's the majority of thoughts. Your frequency is what you frequently see. It's your algorithm, whatever it is. Your frequency will give you intuition, right? Those intuition means mental nudges. So you will start to subconsciously get nudges to do things. This might be whatever it is, but it's going to give you nudges to start doing things that are aligned with the reality you want to create. So if I am really fat, if I can start to get on the frequency, if I am already in shape, you will start to attract things that being in shape does, and you have the nudge to maybe go get steps in, whatever it is, that'll cause you to take action. That action will then give you your desired reality. Now, this could be for, you might get a nudge to apply for a job. You might get a nudge to start your diet, right? Buy that book, ask that girl out. But whatever it is, if you can feel that frequency of your recovered self, it'll take you, you'll subconsciously start to take action towards what your recovered self would do, and it'll start to lead you towards this recovery. Now, the reason this sounds so fucking advanced is because it's so personalized for you, right? If I'm in a negative state and I have to change my emotion from anxiety to recovery, I'm going to have to dive deep into what I would be worried about. And when I do that, I can then be on the frequency of that version of myself. And subconsciously, I will start to take actions that will regulate my nervous system. It works, all right? This thing really does work. But when you take action, that shows you evidence, right? The whole belief cycle is you believe in yourself somewhat, all right? That causes that emotion of that thing. You take action on it. That shows you proof, like evidence, and that creates a stronger belief, and things start to change. The brain learns safety through acting, feeling, rewiring, and then reality reflecting it. So you have to act a certain way. If I'm really fat, I want to be in shape. I need to act like I am in shape. I need to go on my morning walks, get my cardio in, eat like I'm in shape. That's going to cause me to feel like I am someone who's in shape because that's who I am, right? That emotion, acting like it also does trigger emotion. That's going to cause my brain to start to rewire because neuroplasticity goes based off of what you're doing every day. Your subconscious mind picks up on all your actions, and it's going to shape my identity based on these actions. But a lot of times with therapy, we are reflecting an identity of someone who needs to be fixed. I'll say that again. With therapy, we're reflecting identity of someone who has something wrong with them. If you sit down with a therapist, you are acting as if you are someone who needs to be fixed. This is going to cause you to feel like something is wrong with you. Now that you feel like something is wrong with you, your brain is going to start to rewire you to be someone who is anxious. It reflects what you do. It doesn't care about how you're thinking about things. It cares about what you're thinking about and what you're doing, right? And if what you're doing is reflecting someone who has anxiety, you're going to have anxiety. Your reality is going to reflect it. This goes so deep on so many different levels. But the reason, so you guys might be like, okay, well, you have a program, you help other people. Isn't that the same thing? No, because everything I do, we don't talk, like every single conversation we have is not like something's wrong with you. It's the fact that you're already recovered. That's the first module in my course. So essentially going into this is you have to act like you're recovered, and sitting with the therapist is not acting like you're recovered. You're going to continue to tell yourself something's wrong with you subconsciously. Okay. You guys look at my physique now. I got absolutely in the fucking best shape of my life. I can show you guys right now. Absolutely fucking peeled right now. Around like 9% body fat. I got in the best shape of my life. And a couple months ago, I was extremely overweight. Even a couple months ago, like I was already running my business. You guys can scroll back. I was pretty overweight and I looked like shit because I was so locked in on this. I neglected this aspect of my life and I wanted to change it. Now, if I show you guys, just like I'm just going to show you on my phone real quick. I'll show you just like a video of me a couple months ago. Right. That was my fucking physique turned into this. Right. So as you guys can see, things change. Right. You guys can completely transform using this. And it's not just that. It can go for anything. Right. But I had to believe. When you guys see me with like-minded people in Miami, right? When I started, everyone used to make fun of me, posting online, doing all these things. I believed it. I acted on it. That caused me to feel like I was abundant because I felt like the version of myself. When you act like a millionaire version of yourself, you will then feel like it. When you act like an in-shape version of yourself, you will then feel like it. When you act like you're recovered, you will then feel like it. Your brain is forced to rewire and your reality reflects it. I started my own business. I was able to move out. I was able to do all these things. I woke up at 4 a.m. every single day when I first started this, right? Because I knew that the highest version of myself that would achieve this woke up at that time. You don't have to do that. There's some, girls and guys will join my program, and their higher self wakes up at 10 a.m. Like, it's different for everyone, but I started to embody these things. Look at all these wake ups, right? I started going to music festivals because I didn't want to just live in the locked in lifestyle. I wanted to have fun as well. So I knew that was something I had to add and started to be my higher self. I did a lot of things that were aligned with my higher self for the longest time, but I still didn't recover because there was a few things missing. One, I neglected my social life or my sleep schedule. All these things really matter when it comes to acting truly like your recovered self. And if you don't know that, it's hard. If you don't know what your recovered self would do, it's hard to really see that. Now, there's people that are stuck in DPDR, and the biggest problem with these people is they wait and then they check on to see how they feel. They wait and then they check. With therapy, what are you doing? You're getting on a call every single week. Hey, therapist. Hi, how are your symptoms? Nothing's better. Okay, this, and that. Try that. Like, nothing fucking works when you wait it out. So the problem is these people wait it out and they wait to feel happy. Nothing changes. I just got a guy on board today, right after literally half of his life in DPDR, and I asked him, what made you make this change now? And he said, being so comfortable for so long became so unbearably uncomfortable that he had no choice, right? He thought he was going to lose his mind, right? That is what happens when you wait it out. So you keep searching, you keep scrolling, you keep changing your strategies, but your state never changes, right? There's this, what I said earlier about this book goes so deep to the point to where, your frequency, so the emotion that you're feeling every single day, if it's in line, if it's a broken frequency. So if I am someone who is anxious deep down, the emotion that I'm feeling every single day, and I try to take as much action as physically fucking possible, nothing will work. I'll get the intuition subconsciously, right? My intuition, the mental nudges will start to lead me to a reality of anxiety. Always. It can't change until you change your internal state. What you guys have to understand is reality is a direct representation of your internal state. And your internal state is the cause, your external is the effect. So when you guys get anxiety, it's an effect of what you manifested internally. And you guys try to fight against it by reacting to these symptoms, but it's an effect versus an effect. Now, this is super advanced stuff. I know I'm going really deep, but it's important that you guys can understand this, right? Your state will never change and your life will never change until you decide to change your state, okay? And it's a choice. That all comes from awareness as well. So what happens is you start to feel worse. For so many years, for the first 4 years of my recovery, I made no fucking progress, right? Simply because I didn't understand this concept until I read books like Reality Transurfing, Outsmarting Reality, all these books about mind and manifestation. I didn't understand this concept. I tried so many different things. I even tried those 4 a.m. wake ups before, and they didn't work until I did both. You need both, right? A lot of people say, is it just action to recover? No, because mentally, if you don't believe you're recovered mentally, and if you're not on the frequency of recovery, action won't do shit. The same thing goes with mentally. I mean, right? If you truly, you can't mentally just do it, think you're recovered if your actions don't reflect it. Because if your actions aren't reflecting the fact that you're already recovered, like you're still avoiding socializing, you're not living like you're recovered, you're not thinking like that version of yourself who's recovered. If all of those things aren't reflecting the real you that's recovered, it's truly goes to show that you don't truly believe you're recovered there. Because if you believed it, your actions would reflect it. If I believed I had the identity of someone who's in shape, I would wake up every day and live like someone who's in shape. This is just the truth. So the true identity shift is you need to walk like your recovered self. You need to talk like your recovered self. You need to eat, think. Everything needs to reflect your recovered self. When you sit down with the therapist, what happens? You're not walking like your recovered self. You're not talking like your recovered self. Something's wrong with you. You're definitely not eating like you're recovered. I have this analogy here because of like the weight loss analogy, but still, it's another aspect. Like you might eat like shit and your recovered self doesn't, right? You're not thinking like your recovered self for damn sure, right? So this is why we need to change our identity, right? It has to be who you are. So common traps real quick that people fall into is they search instead of act. The solution's in front of you, right? You are the solution. Now, what do I do in my program? I help you find that solution very fucking fast in weeks, right? But you have to find it in you. It's the answer is not out there. Right? It's not an information problem. Trying to feel normal before living. You're trying to feel normal before living like you're normal. You can't try to be someone you're not. You just are. You have to just be. If I try you, it's almost again. You have to kind of fake it till you make it. So I guess in a sense, but you're not. You're doing it though. You're not trying to do it. If you guys are literally acting like you're recovered every day, like having those real life problems like your recovered self, and then making your thoughts reflect that, you are embodying, right? You're not trying. Waiting for the perfect mental clarity to be able to do things. Waiting until you're recovered. Again, you can't wait it out. Recovery happens when you start to think and act like you're recovered. Measuring recovery by symptoms. Each one can fade one by one. Yeah. So basically, you're measuring your recovery based off of the symptoms you're feeling. This is the biggest problem you can have because I'll just give you an example. When it comes to visual symptoms, how do you expect to be recovered if in your vision you're seeing the same symptom every day and you're judging it based off of that? You can't, right? Because the visual symptom that I had only started to go away when mentally I didn't even think about it anymore because I was thinking like my recovered self. So the flip side, and the way that you want to flip this, is you need to be, do, have. Be, then do, and then have. What does this mean? First, decide that you are recovered. Say, today I am 100% recovered. Write down 5 to 10 habits that this recovered self would do. Okay? When you start to reflect it, you will start to have what recovery entails. Be your recovered self. What would my recovered self think about? Which is do, you start to have your recovered self. This goes so in depth too. There's so many factors to this. That's why it's super hard to recover. But this is the principle that allows a full recovery. And you replace have, be, do. A lot of you guys need to have recovery first to be able to be something, to be able to do something. Another way to say be, do, have is like, let's say I've been saying, I need to start my business when I recover. When I recover from DPDR, I'm going to get so fucking rich. People say that. People literally say that. They say, when I recover from DPDR, I'm going to go ask that girl out. When I recover from DPDR, then I can be happy again. Then I can be present. What is that doing? That's having first. You want to have recovery first before you can be and do like the life you want to live. You need to have recovery first before you can become that rich version of yourself. But instead, you need to literally be the rich version of yourself first, and then you can have recovery. And I just had a client too that was doing everything right, but he was delaying this one. I think he wanted to be a lineman in the workforce. And it was a pretty dangerous job, but he kept putting it off because he didn't feel like he was ready yet because of derealization. He thought it wasn't safe. And every time he did this, he was telling his subconscious mind that something was wrong with him. So he was expecting to have recovery first before he could be the lineman. You have to do what you would do anyways, and time will catch up. This is how you collapse time, right? So looking back, I realized God gave me DPDR for a reason, because it was to align myself with my true purpose. Okay? I was misaligned, and God wanted to teach me a lesson. He wanted to show me that recovery is possible. Until I listened to God, until I understood this concept, I continued to waste my life away, right? So God wants you to step into this higher self now. He wants you to be happy first. He wants you to do the things you've been waiting to do, and he will give you recovery. Because the only reason you have DPDR is because it's a wake-up call because of how misaligned you are. There's a reason why weed is the most common trigger, because when you smoke weed, it literally makes it feel like you are doing everything right. It makes it feel like you're aligned. So it's lying to you. So derealization happens to make you quit weed, right? These things are all spiritual. They're not exactly scientifically proven, but this is like my method that I've seen work over 100 times, right? In my program, I have an 100% success rate because these things really do work. And if you did everything right, DPDR wouldn't exist. The problem with so many people is they need to have recovery to do the things in order to be happy. And this is where it leads you to. So you don't need to fix yourself. You just need to become the real fucking you. So with that being said, guys, I understand this is advanced stuff, right? You're never going to see anything like this on the internet. This is like the most valuable information when it comes to DPDR, but it's very hard to conceptualize this and personalize it for yourself. It is, okay? And I understand that. And I've helped over 100 people fully overcome DPDR. I've had 100% success rate in my program. I am able to look deep into your exact situation, pinpoint every single thing that you need in order to recover, all the emotions of your higher self, all the emotions that you feel when you're recovered, every single aspect of it, and give you a guaranteed process to get you recovered in weeks. All right. So if that seems like you, if you genuinely are committed, I don't work with everyone. So if you genuinely feel like you're ready to go all in, go on my Instagram, link in the bio, and DM me. You can DM me the word freedom, and I'll have a conversation with you, and we can see if you're a good fit to progress in weeks. If not, guys, like you have to personalize this for yourself, and you got to do this for you, right? When's it gonna happen? It's gonna happen fucking now. I'm proud of all of you guys for watching this full video through. I love each and every single one of you guys. God bless. Have an amazing rest of your day.